What's going on, everybody? It's Andy here and welcome to my Game Week 12 preview. This is a weekly FPL video where I take you through my team, kind of transfers I've made, what I'm thinking for the week ahead and what my captain is for the week ahead. So it is a full look at my team. So I have wildcarded this week. I know people are getting bored of me talking about it, but this is a video about my team. If you've seen them before, that's all it is, looking ahead to the next week. So I'm going to have to take you through my wildcard team rather than the changes I've made because I've made quite a few. But the good news is going on this week, so I won't have another wildcard until the new year. So you're safe from hearing too much more wildcard talk from me. But we'll go straight into it now. I'll go through the team I've selected, why I've selected them, and what my captain's looking like for this week. And kind of maybe an overall look at the structure I've gone for and why I've done it. Because it's a bit different, I think, to some of the teams that you guys have probably got. So this is the team currently. If you watch my wildcard video, you know I went through a 3-5-2, a 4-4-2 and a 3-4-3, and I kind of said that 3-4-3 was my favoured one, and this is basically it. Now I've lined up with 4 at the back at the moment. I feel like this is quite a flexible team. Choupo-Moting is basically my 4th midfielder with Loftus-Cheek as my 5th, but Choupo-Moting's been much better at home than away, and I think there's a good chance that Brighton get a clean sheet this week, so I'm going to bench him. And I think the beauty of my defence, especially this week, is they've all got great fixtures. I could arguably play all 5 at the back if I had a worse midfield, but it's probably not going to come to that. I'm probably going to play 4. So let's go through the team. Let's start in goal. I got Elliott for 4 million. Obviously, he's staying. He's been really good for me. The problem is Newcastle's fixtures are about to tighten a bit, and I had Foster as well, who West Brom have just been awful. They haven't got the greatest fixtures either. So Pope's looked really good for Burnley. I think he just seems like a cheaper Tom Heaton. In the past, obviously, Tom Heaton's been 4.5 million. They get clean sheets at home, especially. He's a really good shot stopper, and so is Nick Pope. He's done really well stopping shots, and I think he's actually matching or better than De Gea for points per game since he's come into the Burnley team. So for me, he's a shoe-in. It's not really. I'm not even really considering anyone else. There's Speroni at 4 million, which means I'll be spending 8 million total on goalkeepers. Because although Elliott's 4.2 now, I got him for 4 million. So I could go Speroni and save another 0.5 million, but I just feel like he's only a few kind of mistakes away from being rotated back out of the team. Maybe Hennessy comes back in. And generally, I just think Pope is going to be worth that 0.5 million over him. He's going to get enough saves, enough clean sheets, maybe even some bonus along the way to get a load of points. So if he's matching De Gea, yes, okay, fine. It might not happen till the end of the season or, you know, for the rest of the season. But I think he's going to do well. So Pope's in for me. One of the things I wanted to do with this wildcard is get players who are pretty much nailed to play. Obviously over Christmas there's going to be I think I did the Scoutcast tonight. I'm recording this on Tuesday night, and as on the Scoutcast said, there's like 11 game weeks to come between now and the new year, which is the same we've had since August, which is crazy. So that everyone's probably going to get rotated at some point. I think there's some game weeks where there's only a couple of days in between, or even a day between the end and the start. So there's definitely going to be rotation for pretty much every player. But there's only so much you can plan for that. So I've gone for players who are basically in a normal week nailed on for the most part. So in defence, you've got Jones. I think he looks really good value still for Man United. We're going to keep clean sheets. De Gea, Matic, I've said it loads of times before. He's great value. I think I got him for 5 or 5.1 million. He's gone up a bit since then, but obviously I've still got him for that lower price, so I'm not getting rid. He has got a knock, but he's had a knock all season. He's been playing with a bit of a niggle. So I think he's probably going to play. It looks okay for Newcastle. We'll find out in the press conference for sure. But unless he's ruled out for weeks, there's no way he's going to go from my team. He's one of those players who doesn't probably stand a chance of playing kind of 2 or 3 games in quick succession. So he is probably going to miss out, and that's where the rest of the team comes in. I think when he does play, he's really good value. So he stays. Ben Mee, I had Ward on originally from Burnley. This is a double up on Burnley. I think they're that good in defence, and their kind of price lets me do that, especially when they're playing a home game like Swansea. I think that's a great fixture. So I had Ward. He went up to 4.9 million, which means I earned 0.1 million on him. I think that's just time to cash in. I think there's not much difference between him and me. Maybe it's a little bit of a knee-jerk because I got Ward in, then for 2 weeks me got the bonus and Ward didn't. But I think overall there's no reason to spend that extra money on Ward when me is potentially due a goal. Obviously we can never rely on that, but he's having a good few attempts at goal, and obviously he's got the clean sheets and the bonus, so I think he looks great for 4.5 million. Was looking at dropping in price at some point, that's now stopped. So yeah, he's in. Charlie Daniels is, I want to say, a bit of a gamble. I actually had him in my team originally for 5 million. He dropped to 4.9 when I got rid of him, and now he's dropped to 4.8. And I can see why Bournemouth haven't got many clean sheets, so a lot of people are losing faith. But I'm basically betting on him that in the next 5 fixtures, with nice fixtures, the clean sheets will come. Hopefully we'll get some attacking returns as well, and we'll see some big-ish numbers from him over the course of the next 5 weeks. Now, after that, it gets a bit tricky. I think he's got something like 3 kind of what you'd call bad fixtures in a row, so maybe I want to get rid of him then. But with the rest of my defence, I've kind of got players who are going to play, who I can kind of rotate around. So generally, in a normal week, if Choupo-Moting's got an okay fixture, especially if he's got a home fixture, I'm probably just going to play 3 at the back. So it's not the end of the world if I don't play Daniels. But I think he looks good for at least the next 5. So he's in. I'm gambling on him getting some attacking returns as well as the clean sheets for Bournemouth going up. And then Duffy, he's kind of similar. I think Brighton have looked good defensively, so in home fixtures he's really good. Watching him score for Ireland tonight, he just looks like an absolute animal in the box. So I'm hoping for a goal from him as well. I think he's had the most attempts, maybe headed goals or up there. I think Mark was saying on the Scoutcast tonight. So Duffy's in there for me. Good goal threat, a bit like Ben Mee. So I'm hoping my defence can get me some goals, if not some clean sheets as well. Would be nice. So Duffy's in there. I think Brighton look good. I've had Sutner since the start. Obviously, he lost his place in the team, so I basically just replaced him with an actual playing Brighton defender. And then Scott Dan will be the most controversial. He'll be the one that I'll get the most stick for in the comments. If you can think of a better 4.7 million defender right now, I would love to hear it. I think there are arguments to be made for other defenders, like Moreno, 4.5 million. He does get scoffed at, but at home, Liverpool have only conceded 1 all season. So in home games, he's really good, but you're not going to want to play him in away ones. Now, I will say, Scott down 4.7 million. I do have 0.2 million in the bank, and I did forget until I was reminded tonight that Christian Fuchs for Everton is only 4.9 million, so I could afford to bring him in. Now, he does have Spurs and Man City at home in the next 3, which isn't ideal, but going into the kind of Christmas period, the fixtures do ease up a bit, so maybe I should go for Fuchs instead of Dan. But there's something about Crystal Palace which I think they're due some clean sheets, they're due some goals. I watched the game before Frank de Boer got sacked, and I tell you now, Scott Dan could have had 2 or 3 goals in that game, legit. So I'm going to get him in. He's on the bench for the most part, I'd say. But I'm just hoping if he is called upon, he can nick a goal here or there and just get me some points. It's a gamble. It's maybe one I won't take by the time the deadline comes around. Maybe I'll go for Fuchs at 4.9 million, but right now Scott Dan is in. So I've kind of got mostly centre-backs apart from Charlie Daniels. But I think there's potential clean sheets and goals there for that defence. So it's very cheap. That's to fund the rest of the team, which we'll come on to in a minute. But I do think there's good value in the cheap defenders right now. So the more expensive ones I'm looking at really are just someone like Vertonghen. So I'd like a Spurs defender because of their fixtures. But fullbacks are rotation problems, and the centre-backs aren't offering too much goal threat. So someone like Vertonghen for 6 million, I wonder how much value he is versus the defenders I've got. And then Azpilicueta again is 6.8 million. I wonder if I'd even want him when Alonso is only 6.9 million. But do I want either of them? They've got really nice fixtures coming up, Chelsea, but they're just so expensive. And I don't know if they're going to, earn that 2 million more. I know people always say, well, Azpilicueta for 6.8 million, he'll outscore Zaha for 6.9 million in midfield. And yes, I can see that. I can see that Azpilicueta might outscore Richarlison. Perhaps you'd even say there's a good chance of that happening. But you've got to consider who the other player is in the scenario. So I can't just swap Richarlison to Azpilicueta. I'm swapping Richarlison and, just for example, I'm swapping Richarlison and Scott Dan for Azpilicueta and another 4.5 million or 4.7 million midfielder to go alongside Loftus-Cheek. There's not really that many good ones around. Carroll is just a non-entity. He's not going to get me points every week, where I think Scott Dan has a better chance of outscoring Tom Carroll. So then it's, will Scott Dan and Richarlison beat Azpilicueta and Tom Carroll? And I think they probably will. So I agree, Azpilicueta is going to score good points. I just don't know if I want to fit him into my team. I could go 4-4-2, 3-5-2, maybe afford it that way, but right now I'm not looking at him. Into midfield, Loftus-Cheek I think is the 4.5 million midfielder to get. There's Sermon at Bournemouth. Like I said, for Charlie Downs, they got some nice fixtures. You could consider him. But for me, it's Loftus-Cheek. He's looked pretty good for England. I know he hasn't converted his league performances into points yet. He got an assist the other day, but not much more than that. But I think that's going to come soon. He's yellow flagged right now. He went off in the England game tonight. But it doesn't look like it's going to be too bad. At most, he's probably going to miss that Everton game, if not playing it. So I think he'll do well. When Benteke's back, hopefully he'll still be behind in the number 10. And we'll see some good points from him. He's only 4.5 million. Most of the time he's going to be on the bench. But I feel with this team I can be flexible and maybe playing at times when I don't want to play Choupo-Moting. So coming on to Choupo-Moting, he's posting some really nice stats at home. He's actually one of the top midfielders for, not points-wise, but stats-wise. So maybe the goals will be coming in. He's got good goal threat. That's kind of my hope. Away games, I'm not so keen on playing him. I'm probably going to bench him this week just because my defence is so good. But I will play him in away games, but it's the home ones I'm really looking at. So I've got him in at that kind of price. It's him, Shaqiri. I'm just worried about his injuries. There's Gross. I don't like the fact he doesn't shoot very much. He's relying on assists. People are even saying now that Knockout is maybe a better choice to go for at Brighton. So I'm not really convinced on Gross. Damari Gray is cheaper at Leicester. But I'm just not sure about him. I don't know if he's going to keep his place in the team. Obviously, a new manager, he's kind of played a bit now. And to be fair, he's done well. But I'm not sure if I'm ready to punt on him. I'm quite I'll say sensible. You might say boring manager. So I'm going to go for Choupo-Moting instead right now, I think. I don't think that's going to change. And then moving on, we've got Richarlison. He's done really well, mostly away from home, to be fair. I'm waiting to see if he does well at home. I'm hoping he does because he's got Spurs and Man United, I think, in the next 5 at home. We've seen him do okay against big teams, but he is missing sitters. He's got to stop that. But I think he's been so consistent with his points for his price that he looks good. I want him on my team. He's posted great stats, at least for goal attempts all year. Maybe not so much for getting them on target. And obviously, we know he's missed a few sitters in the last few weeks. But I've still got hopes for him at 6.3 million. That's what I got him for. I'm not expecting the world from him, but I'm hoping over the next few games he'll get me some good points. And basically, I've dropped from my midfield from my normal team, which some of you may notice. It's Eriksen. So I don't know how good of a move that was. I mean, I sold him for like 9.6, 9.7 million. That's a lot of money for someone who, you could say he's been off form in the league. He scored a hat-trick tonight against Ireland. But in the league, he hasn't looked as good. But to be fair, he's had 2 tricky fixtures in the last kind of 3 games. And obviously a trip to Real Madrid as well. Or he played Real Madrid at least. So maybe on these good fixtures they've got coming up, he'll do well. But I just wonder if he'll do well for that price. So basically, I've dropped him and got Choupo-Moting in and put that money into Strikeforce, which I'll come on to in a sec. So my kind of more expensive midfielders are Sterling and Salah. So I'll get out of the way straight away. Yes, I wish I could have Sané instead of Sterling. Yes, I know there's ways I could do it. I could do Pope to Speroni, Scott Dan to someone like Dummett, a 4.2 million, and fund it that way. But I don't want to make those compromises. I don't think those compromises are worth Sterling to Sané. Sterling still look good. The double up on Sterling and Sané could be done. I could drop one of my strikers. I'll come on to why I don't want to do that in a minute. But I could drop one of my strikers and get Sané in. I think those 2 players are going to miss games. They already have. But I don't think they're going to miss too many. Sterling's probably going to miss more than Sané, but we'll see. Just because Sané's kind of got that left wing and there's not really anyone else that can play there right now, especially when they haven't got Mendy kind of bombing up the wing. Delph is just not that kind of player. So I wish I had Sané. I'm not too unhappy with having Sterling. He's done okay for me. I think just like any Man City attacker almost, they can come off the bench and get points. So yes, he'll get rotated. But I feel like the rest of my team can step in and cover him as needed. They're at least going to play for the most part. So he's good. And then Salah's probably been my favourite pick of the year. Consistently points scored. I think he's the most transferred in this week, which has so far been a curse. Every player that's been the most transferred in has then gone on to do nothing that week. I'm hoping Salah can buck that trend, but it is Southampton. They're usually pretty good defensively. Either way, Salah's going nowhere. I got him for 9 million. Since the start of the season, like I say, he's consistently scored points, so I never even considered getting rid of him. And then I've gone for the 3 premium strikers. Now, I keep mentioning this word flexible. My team is flexible. If I don't want to play Choupo-Moting, I can play an extra defender. If Loftus-Cheek's in form and he's got a good fixture, it doesn't matter that he's 4.5 million, I'll play him. And the 3 premium strikers basically is being funded by that Eriksen to Choupo-Moting move. I've got Kane, he's not going anywhere. I know those home easy fixtures at Wembley are not good for him right now, but 3 of the next 4 are away, including Leicester and Watford, and even Arsenal's not the worst fixture for him. He always scores in those games. So I'm happy enough to even captain him this week, I think. So he's not going anywhere for me. But yes, if he blanks again against West Brom, when it gets to kind of game week like 16, 17, when he has 2 good home fixtures again, will I want to captain him? I'm not sure. But maybe I'm burying my head in the sand, but I just think he's going to do well, Harry Kane. He's going to do well. Spurs are too good not to score at Wembley. So in the easy games, obviously they've done it in the harder ones, but in the easy games he's going to do it. So he's in. And then Lukaku and Morata. This is a little bit, I guess, of indecision because I don't know which one to get. I think Lukaku's looked poor without Pogba, but he's still been getting points. Maybe not points that are worth 11.5 million, but he's been kind of consistently scoring. And he's got some good fixtures, and we've seen him do really well. in good fixtures before. So I'm hoping he comes back with a bang. I'm hoping Pogba gets back soon. Yes, he's got Arsenal away, and I think it's Man City at home soon, which is not ideal, but then it's another lot of good fixtures, so I'm going to keep him for that. And then Morata has looked good as well. He's got West Brom away next, which could be good. And then after the next game after that, there's another run of nice fixtures for Chelsea. So Morata and Lukaku I both like right now. I'm not prepared to make the decision of who to drop, but I'm flexible enough that if I do want to drop one of them, if I feel like Lukaku's not the one or Morata's not the one, I can get rid of them, go for a cheaper striker, Callum Wilson if he plays, if not someone like Abraham, or even Glenn Murray. I'm not sure about Murray, but I just feel like his age is going to catch up on him. But I can go for that cheaper striker and then upgrade Choupo-Moting to a more expensive midfielder, and I can afford someone like Hazard or Ali or Mane or Sané, whoever I need in that midfield, I can do it. So I've prepared my team that, one, it looks good for when there is rotation. I've got enough backup that those players should play. If it gets to the point where I use all 3 subs and I still need another one to cover it, then I feel like I've just been unlucky. If injuries come, so be it. I'll have to watch out for Sterling. I'm sure that's just an international break injury, and hopefully Loftus-Cheek won't be out too long, so I should be okay there. And I've set myself up in a position where I can downgrade one of those strikers if it's not the way to go, correct that mistake and upgrade. Maybe I get Azpilicueta in, maybe I get Sané in as well. I mean, I could get Azpilicueta and Sané and just get rid of Morata or Lukaku and downgrade to a cheap forward. So I've got lots of options. I feel like this is just the one I'm going to go for. If Lukaku and Morata are absolutely fire and they've got the fixtures to do it, then I'll be happy to have them. I'm never going to get rid of Kane because I just think he's too good. So that's the team. Let me know what you think. I know you're going to in the comments below. What have I got wrong? Is my thinking too wrong? Have I got too much money kind of spread on my bench players? I feel like I need a good playing bench, especially with this fixture congestion. Have I spent too little on defence, etc, etc? Let me know in the comments below. My captain's probably going to be Kane. I'm not confident enough yet to put it on Lukaku, even though he's got those good fixtures. Kane's looked good away and he usually does well in Arsenal, so it's probably going to be Kane for me. I may switch that before the deadline. I'll let you know on Twitter. But Kane right now, let me know what you think about the team. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like. Let me know if you're wildcarding. What would you change, etc, etc. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it there. So yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really appreciated. I will be streaming. You'll see this on Wednesday. I'll be streaming the next day on Thursday. It should be 9:30 PM UK time. We'll go through this, maybe make some last minute changes, but unless there's anything major in the press conferences, I think we're looking good. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks all for watching. I really do appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.